So tomorrow we will witness an oath. Over the next couple of days, several oaths will take place as we see a new administration come into our governing body of our federal government, like we do every 4 years. An oath is something that is very prevalent in all of our lives, and we see it around us quite often. In a simple definition, it says traditionally an oath is either a statement of fact or a promise with wording relating to something considered sacred as a sign of truth. There's lots of different types of oaths. I got just a few listed here. A Hippocratic oath, of course, is an oath that is historically taken by physicians and other healthcare professionals swearing to practice medicine honestly. There's the oath of allegiance, an oath whereby a subject or a citizen acknowledges a duty of allegiance and swears loyalty to a monarch or a country. There's the oath of citizenship, an oath taken by immigrants that officially are naturalized immigrants into citizens. There's the oath of office, obviously one that we're going to see President-elect Biden and Vice President sworn statement or oath by a person that he or she is completely without any money or property. There's the veterinarian's oath, and if you knew your veterinarian took an oath, but it's also pretty much like the Hippocratic oath that a doctor takes, to adhere to the practice of medicine to take care of animals. There's the scout oath. I was a Boy Scout. I think it was this hand, isn't it? Do I get to do the left hand? I don't even remember. I wasn't a good Boy Scout. I can tell you that I did pretty good up until 8th grade, and then 9th grade I discovered girls, and that didn't go so well. But these are all very important. I mean, we see these in our lives, and some of us have taken them at different times, and it's that commitment, it's that promise. It's that promise that we're going to adhere to something, a promise that we're going to give our respect in our life and everything that we do to focus on whatever it is that we're participating in. Well, in today's letter to the Hebrews, you hear the author talk about an oath. And it's really an oath that our God made to us. Now, something about the book of Hebrews, just in a simple sense, that it was written, as scholars believe, that it was written to Jewish Christians who lived in Jerusalem, and its purpose was to encourage Christians to persevere in the face of persecution. At this time, there were certain believers that were considering leaving that Christian following and going back to their Jewish ways because they were afraid of the persecution. They were afraid of what they were facing, and they didn't want to. And so that author of the letter to the Hebrews, which generally is attributed to Paul, but most scholars believe it's not Paul who wrote it, but it just said, look, this is an early church. Hold fast to the faith. Don't give up. Don't give up. And what's beautiful about this particular letter that we heard today is that writer is saying, again, encouraging, don't give up because your God has made an oath to you. Your God has made a promise to you, and he's not going to renege on that promise. Yes, there's going to be times when life doesn't always seem that easy. There's going to be times when you are going to be faced with those challenges and difficulties, but he told you he's going to be there, and he's going to get you through it. You just have to have faith. You have to trust. And you have to believe in your God. Because you know what? If you look through all throughout history, if you look through all throughout the so many years of believers, he hasn't faltered. He still continues to bring us through. There's times when the persecution gets so heavy that we do want to back away. But this letter again is saying, just hold on. Hold on and don't let go. Because you'll be amazed at where that can take you. Now, I love this part of it where, he says that nothing's impossible for God, okay? And he says here, this oath we have is an anchor of the soul. This oath that we have is an anchor of the soul. I mean, you picture an anchor, okay? You picture a boat in your mind, and of course, if you want to stay in one spot and you want to, spend some time, swimming or fishing in that one spot, you just don't leave the boat out there, because what's going to happen, the water's going to toss you to and fro, and it's going to take you away from wherever it's at. You've got to throw that anchor out. And you got to drop that anchor in the right spot so it holds strong. And guess what? The winds are going to come, but you're not going to go too far. You're not going to go too far. And this writer in Hebrews is really just telling us that and encouraging us that and trying to point out, actually almost every other line seems to be, somewhere where it goes back to the Hebrew Scriptures, to the Old Testament, to say, look, God said this, and then goes back to the New Testament, God did this. All right, the theme of the Old Testament, the theme of the Hebrew Scriptures is promise. God made an oath. He said, look, I'm going to promise you, I'm going to restore this kingdom. I'm going to bring you the Savior. And the Christian Scriptures and the New Testament, it's the fulfillment of that promise. And that's the reality. And he just tells you, I want you to anchor yourself on my oath. Anchor yourself on my promise. And the storm may come, but I'm going to get you through it. Just hold on. That's amazing where that brings us. That's one of the things I love about this letter, is it really does come full force when it says Jesus is that answer. And Jesus is going to bring you that hope. Jesus is going to bring you that peace. Jesus is going to bring you that understanding. Again, like I always say, the stuff is going to happen. The difficulties, the challenges, they're going to be there. But where are you going to put your anchor? If you pull it up and say, well, I'm just going to go in a different direction, God only knows where that boat's going to go. He wants you to take that anchor and put it strong in His promise, in His oath, because He doesn't falter. He does not falter. And you'd be amazed at what can happen and how it can make a difference in your life.